Well, hello folks. I'm back from Ventnor. Well, in fact, I've been back an hour or two now. I went down to the seafront outside of the mill bay. Obviously the mill bay, there's a couple of benches there, lovely. But the place was dead. Couldn't believe it, really. Well, I mean, it's overcast, but God, there's a few people milling around and down on the beach, but hardly anyone walked past me. So I'm glad I wasn't dependent on it. Mind you, that's another story. But yeah, I was glad to get that, because I did about 8 songs, so was, some of them are pretty mammothy Bob Dylan-ish ones and that, and so I hyperventilate a lot when I'm singing, which is great because I got all that salty air, and it's helped clear my sinuses out a bit, because I get clogged and I get terrible headaches. But anyways, I don't think that's the only thing, that's the only factor with my headaches. Like, as most people know, I am a stroke patient. I had a stroke in 2018, I had a second one which was worse in 2019, but I've been taking precautions since then, since I found out a bit more about electromagnetic radiation from wireless technology, from all your smart gadgets, etc., and all these cell towers around the place and all that. And I took this with me, which is an RF, that's radio frequency, field strength meter. Now that's EMF, electromagnetic fields, and those are kind of rotate around the radio frequencies, if you get my drift. So, and anyways, I got on the bus. I have a bus pass now because I'm an old age pensioner, and look at that, I've even got a disabled bus pass because I'm a stroke patient, because I was thinking, oh yeah, that'd be great, because you get free Island Line trains as well with it. And I was thinking, oh God, be great, I'll be able to, but sadly you can't get free trains from Portsmouth to London with it. Otherwise I'm probably up there a lot more often, which is, in some ways, is probably better for me, because the electromagnetic fields around the centre of London are really high, and I mean, I was measuring them in 2020, God knows what they're like now, and they were high then, anywhere, Trafalgar Square, St Paul's Cathedral, around their area, Camden, all over the place, really high, and it's not healthy at all. Luckily I stay in Highgate, which is North London, isn't it, so I'm out of it, most of it, although there is Wi-Fi and stuff around these areas, and cell towers of course, but it's not half as bad. And but the thing is, I got on the bus, and I had this on the bus, and I was looking at it like, I mean, in this house, because I've disabled all the Wi-Fi and any there's nothing smart in this house now, apart from my phone, which I've got in fact I've started turning it off, but I keep it in flight mode a lot of the time as well, when I've got it on, to stop it transmitting and receiving, because what you're getting out of these things is not safe, basically. But I was on the bus and had it on, and I thought, oh, it's not too bad, but it was like, oh, a little bit high here, because I mean, we were in higher risk levels, 200, 300, 400 millivolts, which is high risk levels, but and it was up and down as I went past various things and places. But a young girl, a teenage lass, got on the bus. I was sat on the back seat on the right hand side. She came, sat on the left hand side, put her headphones on, plugged her phone in, obviously in data, listening to music or whatever, or watching something, I don't know, but it shot up to over 1,000 millivolts. I think, God, that's just one device on a bus. Imagine if there's loads of them. It's like being in a microwave oven. I think, oh God, no wonder. I'm my head's aching thinking about it, because I think it's not only my sinuses what are causing my headaches, and I think it's electromagnetic radiation. Which, these EMFs, these electromagnetic fields, which are pumped out from everything, I mean, if you've got Wi-Fi in your house, as I say, I've deadened it in here. I won't go into details, but I'm on the Ethernet with my computer, the yellow cable, and I'm on the telecom copper wire. I'm not on Wi-Fi when I'm using my laptop. I only use it upstairs where I plug it into the router, which has the Wi-Fi disabled anyway. So you couldn't use Wi-Fi in here if you wanted to. You couldn't get onto Wi-Fi because I've disabled it. And I feel safe in here. I'm quite well in here because of it, because I'm in a bit of a dip, so I don't get too much, although it has gone up, because I only started using this again recently when someone said, oh, they've upped it again, and they have. The frequencies on this island now are really high. I'll jump ahead. When I got into Ventnor, I mean, as you come down into Ventnor, and you come down at the Ventnor High Street on the bus, there's a telecom place there, isn't there? And they've got the big cell towers there. One of them's a fairly new one. And as I went past that, it was up to 4,000 or 5,000 millivolts. I'll talk about millivolts in a minute, but that's, it's terribly high and it's very dangerous. And we've got this now all over, in the towns on the island, all over the place. And smart cities would be like living in a microwave oven. I'm telling you, we ought to be stopping this, because children are at most risk. I mean, us adults, I mean, the wireless only started coming in, I think it was at the end of the 80s, wasn't it, into the 90s, when they had 1 2G on the motorways for the car phones and stuff. But I don't know if you noticed, but later in the 80s, hardly any mid-Gs splattered on your windscreen anymore and down the motorways, unless you went through a zone what didn't have any, radiation around, wireless radiation. Because the smaller, like a midgie, a small insect, a pollinator, bees and stuff, small birds, whether this small or that small, obviously the smaller ones, they're going to be dropping like flies. We know for a fact that the insect population in this country, at least I think, is down by about 75%. And I didn't see many bees, I haven't seen many bees this year so far in my garden. I saw a lot last year. I know we've had adverse weather in the springtime, we had a lot of wind and rain and stuff, didn't we? And that probably put them off. But it's only since the heat came up again, we had the heat wave the other week, that there are seeing more bees appearing, but nowhere near the amount I had in the garden last year. Same with butterflies, seeing them now. I'm planting things now that are bee friendly, because they need the food and everything, and they pollinate and all around there. But I think we're killing the poor little things. But the thing is, the smaller the body, like an analogy, which is a stark analogy, the smaller the bird, the faster it'll cook in a microwave oven. Now, I'm not saying these frequencies are as strong as inside a microwave oven, but I tell you one thing, they're getting very strong, and it's not healthy at all. I mean, a pregnant woman, for instance, if she's got say she's got a laptop here on Wi-Fi, and she's got a fetus in her womb, that is going to be getting some stick. And I'm telling you, the life expectancy of that child will be lowered immensely. I mean, we like I say, we only started getting it in the late 80s into the 90s, so we've got beyond that, haven't we? So, but I know my head is very sensitive to it now, for various reasons. I won't go into details, but it's sort of to do with Wi-Fi in houses and pubs and everywhere else. And I was in a perfect storm when I was working, before I realised, I mean, I used to do live streaming in my car. I'd put my phone on the dashboard and I'd drive around, Derek's travel babble or babble travel like I do babble and I like doing it though, but and so I'm like driving around in a microwave oven, and then my Wi-Fi router, my cordless phone hub, chucking it out either side of me when I'm on my laptop upstairs. Before I got rid of it all, I was getting bombarded a lot, because I'd be uploading stuff like gigs I'd filmed, etc., into the night and stuff, and I think, oh, not anymore. I don't do live streaming anymore. If I film, it's with this camera, or if I use my phone, I don't have it in data, I don't live stream. But I don't even use the phone that much if I can help it, because even if it's not in data, now these frequencies have gone up, it's pulling a lot more. And like I say, on that bus, and going down into Ventnor, because, I mean, 4,000 or 5,000 millivolts, the highest, this is a EM Watch electromagnetic radiation exposure guidelines, this, notes I made a couple of years ago at least, more than that. Risk levels, risk level 4 is over 650 millivolts. Now we talk about thousands of millivolts, up to 5 or 6. I mean, when I come back, I got off the bus, and I was up the top near the top of St John's Road there, what goes down the car park behind the town. Come a bit further along on Victoria Avenue, you can see the cell towers on top of Ride Theatre. I wouldn't want to live round near there, because I got this out and I was getting anything from 4 up to 7,000 millivolts in the street, a fair distance away from Ride Theatre, but it's chucking it out and it's killing everything. I tell you, including us. It's an existential threat basically to life and its planet. It's the real existential threat, not climate change. That is a real existential threat. But of course, all these companies cash in on all this, you know, they pull the wool over our eyes and they're cashing in on it, whether it be the American industrial complex, with the arms trade, billions, millions, trillions. The 5G industry is worth trillions. Big Pharma. I won't go into the details, but I'm sure you know where I'm coming from if you know me. And it's like, and they just say, oh no. Like the 5G industry say, oh no, it's not dangerous. I won't go into details, but the electromagnetic radiation is not dangerous to people. It's heat generated, but it's more than heat, I'm telling you. It's actually radiation, and it causes neurological damage, all kinds of damage. You know, it gets across the blood-brain barrier. You know, anything from depression to serious head problems. I know I can feel it now. I mean, 0 to 10 millivolts, look at this, is the low risk of health effects, except for electro-hypersensitive people. And there's a lot of them around these days who can feel it that low. I mean, what, I'll put it on in here now. What am I getting here? Hang on a minute, let's turn it off and turn it on. 35, 43, anything up to 43 millivolts at the moment in here. Used to be less than that a couple of years ago, but I think because the fields are getting stronger outside, even though I'm in a dip here, I'm still getting a bit more, you know. But anything over 10 millivolts it is. Now, 10 to 100 millivolts, risk level 2, slight risk of serious health effects, especially for children and pregnant women. Now, we've just been into that. I mean, the life expectancy now of a child, I reckon, I mean, we weren't in it from birth, but they are. I reckon if they make it to 40, they'll be lucky, you know, simple as that. Especially, you know, if the mothers are ignorant to it. I mean, you see children now with mobile phones in data, you know, on Wi-Fi with the obviously when they're outdoors with the tablets and stuff, the mother's giving them to keep them occupied. They're getting bletted with it, you know, and I'm telling you, it's not safe at all. So basically, what I'd like to say is there should be a moratorium on 5G brought in now. I mean, they banned smoking in pubs years ago, didn't they, because of passive smoking, and it was proven, and the insurance companies lost a lot of money through it, because it was proven that passive smoking was causing, you know, cumulative passive smoking, lung cancer, all kinds of shit. Now, electromagnetic fields, the effects you get off them, the health risk is cumulative. So it builds up basically slowly over a period of time. Now, I mean, there's another giveaway. The insurance companies won't even insure 5G or any, you know, wireless radiation, because they once bitten, twice shy. They've lost a lot of money with the tobacco industry, and these industries now, these corporate industries. I don't know if I mentioned it. Like I think I did. The arms industry, big pharma, you name it. The 5G industry is worth trillions. you know. They say, oh, the risk levels are all right up here. They're not dangerous. When they are, they should be down here. If you imagine a column graph, that's what it's like. Anyways, all I'm saying is I just thought I'd let it be known how I feel about this. And if you don't believe it, fair enough. But I'm telling you, you're in danger, and your children especially are in danger from this. I mean, I'm a pensioner now, you know. I'm a stroke patient. I could have another stroke any time. And my days could be numbered. But I'm not worried about that anyway, because I don't fear death. So, and that's another story. I won't go into those details anyway, because I don't want to bore you too much. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. We need to stop this 5G industry in its tracks before any more damage is done, because the damage is serious right now. And anyway, I'll say no more. I might be a bit, my articulation, whatever you call it, might not be so brilliant, because I am a stroke patient and I feel pretty bad up here a lot of the time, you know. It takes me hours to get moving on the morning and stuff because of how Anyways, I won't say no more. Thank you very much.